Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's Tuesday, January 28th, 2025, and we need to talk about what's unfolding across Canada's capital region right now, because Environment Canada has escalated this situation to a red alert, which is their highest level of weather warning, and we're looking at conditions in Ottawa-Gatineau that we haven't seen persist at this intensity since January 2005. The National Capital Region is currently locked in a deep freeze, with temperatures that bottomed out at minus 38 degrees Celsius overnight at the Ottawa Macdonald-Cartier International Airport observing station. And when you factor in the wind chill, which is what actually matters for human exposure and safety, we're talking about values that have touched minus 48 degrees Celsius as of the 6 a.m. observation this morning. Environment Canada's extreme cold warning was upgraded to red alert status at 10:47 p.m. yesterday evening, and that designation doesn't happen casually. This is reserved for conditions that pose an immediate threat to life and safety for anyone exposed to the elements. The red alert threshold in this region triggers at minus 40 degrees Celsius wind chill or colder, and we've been sustaining values beyond that critical point for the past 8 hours now. The Ottawa Weather Office is reporting that this is the longest continuous duration of red alert conditions since the historic cold snap of January 18th through 20th, 2005, when the capital region experienced a 43-hour period of comparable extreme cold. We're currently 18 hours into this event, with at least another 14 to 16 hours ahead of us before we see any meaningful moderation. And let me break down exactly what's happening meteorologically, because understanding the mechanics here helps explain why this is so dangerous and so persistent. We have an Arctic high-pressure system that originated over the Northwest Territories, and it has settled directly over eastern Ontario and western Quebec, creating what meteorologists call a polar vortex intrusion at the surface level. This air mass is exceptionally cold and exceptionally dry. The dew point temperature at Ottawa Airport right now is sitting at minus 42 degrees Celsius, which tells you just how moisture-starved this Arctic air is. The pressure reading at the centre of this system is 1,042 millibars, which is extraordinarily high and indicative of a very dense, very stable air mass that's not going anywhere quickly. The wind component is what's making this particularly brutal, because we're not dealing with calm conditions. Environment Canada's observing stations across the capital region are reporting sustained northwesterly winds between 20 and 30 kilometres per hour, with gusts that have reached 40 kilometres per hour at exposed locations along the Ottawa River corridor. That wind is taking already dangerous temperatures and driving the wind chill values into that life-threatening range, where frostbite can occur on exposed skin in less than 5 minutes. The wind chill calculation isn't just some arbitrary formula. It's based on heat loss rates from human tissue, and at minus 48 wind chill, we're talking about the kind of conditions where you can literally freeze facial tissue during a normal walk from your car to a building entrance. So here's what's happening right now across different parts of the capital region, because the intensity of this cold varies somewhat based on your specific location and exposure. Downtown Ottawa core areas, places like Parliament Hill, the Byward Market, Centretown, you're seeing ambient temperatures of minus 36 to minus 38, with wind chill values of minus 46 to minus 48 degrees. The urban heat island effect that normally provides a degree or two of moderation is essentially overwhelmed by the magnitude of this Arctic air mass. South End Ottawa, including areas like Barhaven, Riverside South and Manotick, you're experiencing the coldest readings in the capital region, with some rural stations reporting ambient temperatures of minus 39 degrees Celsius, and wind chill values that briefly touched minus 50 overnight. West End communities, including Kanata, Stittsville and Carp, are sitting at minus 37 to minus 38 ambient, with wind chill minus 47 to minus 49. Crossing over to Gatineau, the Quebec side of the capital region is experiencing nearly identical conditions. Hull, Aylmer and Gatineau sector are all reporting minus 37 to minus 38 degrees Celsius, with wind chill values of minus 46 to minus 48. The slightly lower elevation on the Quebec side doesn't provide any meaningful relief when you're dealing with an air mass this cold and this extensive. Outlying areas of the Outaouais region, including Buckingham, Masson-Angers and Thurso, you're in that minus 38 to minus 40 ambient temperature range, with wind chill approaching minus 50 degrees. The timeline for this event is critically important for planning purposes, because we need to talk about when conditions might improve, and I have to be honest with you, meaningful relief is not coming quickly. Environment Canada's forecast models show this Arctic high remaining dominant over the region through at least 8 p.m. this evening. We're expecting temperatures to climb to a daytime high of around minus 28 degrees Celsius by early afternoon, which sounds better until you realise that with continued northwest winds of 20 to 30 kilometres per hour, the wind chill will still be hovering in the minus 38 to minus 40 range during the warmest part of the day. That still exceeds the extreme cold warning threshold, so we remain under red alert conditions continuously through the daylight hours. Tonight, Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, we get another round of intensification as radiational cooling kicks in under clear skies. Temperatures are forecast to drop back down to minus 35 to minus 37 degrees Celsius by Wednesday morning at 6 a.m, with wind chill values returning to the minus 44 to minus 46 range. It's not until Wednesday afternoon that we finally see the arrival of a weak disturbance from the southwest that will introduce some cloud cover and gradually push this Arctic air mass eastward. Wednesday's forecast high is minus 23 degrees Celsius in Ottawa-Gatineau, which represents about a 10-degree improvement. But with winds shifting to westerly at 15 to 25 kilometres per hour, we're still looking at wind chill values in the minus 33 to minus 35 range during the afternoon. May Thursday is when we see more substantial moderation, with forecast highs reaching minus 18 degrees Celsius and wind chill values improving to the minus 25 to minus 28 range. Still cold, still requiring winter precautions, but no longer in that immediately dangerous category. By Friday, we're looking at highs near minus 15, with wind chill minus 22 to minus 24. And that weekend into early next week, models are showing a pattern shift that could bring temperatures closer to seasonal normals. So we're talking about a roughly 72 to 96-hour event here, when you measure from the onset of extreme conditions Monday evening to the final departure of dangerous wind chill values sometime Thursday morning. The impacts of this extreme cold are already being felt across multiple sectors. OC Transpo issued a service alert at 5:30 this morning indicating that buses are experiencing delays system-wide due to mechanical issues related to the extreme cold, with particular problems affecting diesel engine starting and door mechanism function. The Transit Authority is reporting that approximately 18% of its diesel bus fleet experienced cold start failures this morning. The Société de Transport de l'Outaouais on the Quebec side is reporting similar challenges with approximately 15% of buses delayed or out of service. Via Rail has implemented cold weather protocols for its trains serving Ottawa Station, which includes additional inspection time and potential delays of 15 to 30 minutes for departures. Ottawa International Airport is operational, but Air Canada and WestJet have both issued travel advisories indicating potential delays for de-icing procedures, which take significantly longer in temperatures below minus 35 degrees Celsius. The Airport Authority is also managing gate heating systems to prevent freeze-related equipment failures, and ground crews are working in rotating 20-minute shifts to limit their exposure to the extreme conditions. Highway 417 has seen several disabled vehicles this morning, primarily related to battery failures and fuel line freezing, and Ontario Provincial Police are reporting increased call volumes for stranded motorists. The City of Ottawa has activated its extreme cold weather emergency protocols, which means all emergency shelter spaces are operating at maximum capacity with no turnaways permitted. The Shepherds of Good Hope, the Ottawa Mission, and other shelter providers have opened additional overflow spaces. And the city's emergency social services team is conducting outreach patrols to locate and transport any individuals experiencing homelessness to warming centres. This is critical because survival time for an unsheltered person in minus 48 wind chill conditions can be measured in single-digit hours. Schools across the Ottawa Carleton District School Board and the Ottawa Catholic School Board remain open, though both boards issued statements reminding parents that they have the discretion to keep children home if they judge transportation conditions unsafe. Several rural schools in the outlying areas have cancelled bus service for today, particularly routes that require extended wait times at unsheltered bus stops. Let's talk about the health implications here, because Environment Canada's red alert is fundamentally a health warning. Frostbite at minus 48 wind chill can occur on exposed skin in 2 to 5 minutes. That's the time it takes for tissue freezing to begin, and we're talking about the kind of cold injury that can result in permanent tissue damage. The areas most susceptible are the extremities, fingers, toes, nose, ears, and cheeks, because these have the poorest circulation when your body's cold response mechanisms kick in. Hypothermia risk accelerates dramatically in these conditions because your body's core temperature begins dropping when your metabolic heat production can't keep pace with environmental heat loss. Early-stage hypothermia symptoms include shivering, confusion, slurred speech, and loss of coordination. These are warning signs that require immediate warming intervention. Respiratory stress is another major concern. Breathing in air, this cold causes immediate constriction of airways. And for people with asthma or COPD, exposure to -40 wind chill air can trigger acute episodes. Ottawa Public Health is specifically advising people with cardiovascular conditions to avoid any outdoor exertion because the combination of cold-induced vasoconstriction and physical effort can trigger cardiac events. If you're commuting today, minimize your outdoor exposure time by planning your route to reduce transitions between heated spaces and outdoor environments. Layer your clothing using the 3-layer principle: a moisture-wicking base layer, an insulating middle layer like fleece or down, and a wind-blocking outer shell. Your extremities need specific protection. Wear insulated boots rated to at least -40 degrees, thick wool socks, insulated mittens, and a hat that covers your ears completely. Cover your face with a scarf or balaclava to pre-warm the air you're breathing. If you must travel by vehicle today, pack a winter survival kit that includes blankets rated to -40, extra winter clothing, high-calorie food, water in insulated containers, a flashlight with extra batteries, matches and candles, a small snow shovel, and a tow rope. Your vehicle should have at least 3/4 of a tank of fuel, because fuel provides the ability to run the engine periodically for heat if you become stranded. Pet owners need to understand that domestic animals are not adapted to these temperatures either. Dogs and cats can develop frostbite on their paws, heads, ears, and tails within minutes of exposure. Outdoor time for pets should be limited to the absolute minimum necessary for bathroom breaks, typically no more than 5 to 10 minutes at a time. Watch for signs of cold distress, including shivering, whining, anxiety, or lifting paws repeatedly off the ground. Stay warm, stay safe, and if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because we'll be providing updates as conditions evolve. Share this information with anyone in the Ottawa-Gatineau region who might need guidance about protection measures. Take care of each other during this extreme cold event, and I'll be back with updates as warranted.